there is a difference in the way that, you could say there's a difference in the way that the patriarchs had faith in Christ, who was yet to come, in God's promises, who that were yet to be fulfilled. And then we have faith, if you're going along this linear timeline, we have faith in Christ, who has come and will come again. Does that change anything? How do we kind of reconcile those, I guess, linear differences?
Yeah, you can kind of, if you picture history on this continuum, or this linear path from when the promise is first made in Genesis 3:15 to the incarnation of Christ, and then finally to his future coming. Yeah, there's different ways in which faith is construed, I guess you could say. Because yeah, all the people in the Old Testament, their faith is very much a forward look. Well, I was gonna say it's very much a forward-looking faith. It is and it is and it isn't. So, it is looking forward
Okay.
to the fulfillment of the promises, but at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
their faith is built upon the trustworthy promise that God gave in the past, if that makes sense. So
Hmm.
so God
Yeah.
says
Yeah.
God says to Adam and Eve right after the fall, I'm gonna put, well, he actually says it to the serpent, which I kinda love. He's, like, talking to the serpent. It's gospel, but he's talking to the serpent. He's like, "I'm gonna put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed, and he's gonna he's gonna crush your head, and you're gonna strike his heel." So, that promise of the coming seed, which was uttered in the past by a trustworthy God, that becomes the basis upon which the Israelites knew that they could trust. They could have faith in the fact that God would fulfill that. So faith kind of is
Hmm.
it's looking forward and backward. It's looking backward. Even the Old Testament is looking
Yeah.
backward to the promise made, and then forward to when that promise is going to be fulfilled. And in a way, we're kind of like that because we look back to everything that
Yeah.
Christ has done, but we also have
Mm-hmm.
faith. We trust in his promise to come again on the last day.
Yeah.
But I mean, there is still, yeah, a difference. I mean, they didn't know as much as we know as far as what Christ was going to do. Uh, even the disciples themselves, after all those years of learning for Jesus, they were still a bit fuzzy about things. So we can't expect
Yeah.
the Old Testament people, to have this grandiose theological understanding of who the Messiah was going to be. None of them did. I mean, they all had some pretty serious gaps in their knowledge, which was fine. I mean, none of us have a perfect knowledge of Jesus. We're all incomplete in a way. But as long as we're trusting in him, just like they were trusting in him, then we have the faith that saves.
Yeah. That's amazing. I guess I haven't ever made that connection of almost, it's almost like like a faith sandwich that
Yeah,
we're all kind of
we're in
in
the middle.
between.
Yeah.
We're in the middle, and Christ and his work is surrounding us in the past and in the present and in the future.